Let's take some of that opening that we found in the hips towards getting a little bit more room in the back of the body. Now we're going to make our way into this in stages. And again, if you're working with kyphosis, the exaggerated kyphotic curve of the spine, then it's advisable that you don't add any excess weight on that curve. So I'll let you know when you might stop. But as always, you're in there, not me. And you know best. Okay. Turn your toes out as you separate your feet. Now we're looking for an external rotation in the hips. So just like we were practicing in the last clip, internal rotation would be drawing my knees together. So I'm actively externally rotating, and to help feel that, you can curl your tailbone under a little bit. That will give you more room to kind of track the knees over the second toes. And then, keeping that tracking, roll the pelvis forward, draw the heart up. Now some of you, this might already be dramatic enough. We don't usually open our legs like this, and so you might already feel it through the inner thighs and in the hip joints, and you might just stay here. But if it's appropriate to feel more, I'm going to shorten my stance just a little bit so it's a little tidier for me. If it's appropriate for you, start to lean forward. Now start with your forearms, your elbows on your thighs. Take a moment to kind of organize there. And if you're working with kyphosis, you might stay here and simply round your low back by working your tailbone under, keeping your knees opening. Okay? If you're working with herniation in the discs, you might simply roll the pelvis forward and work your heart long. That will be more strengthening, stabilizing. But if none of those apply, then slow, let your arms gently release towards the earth. And slowly letting the tailbone draw under. So you're allowing your back to round, letting the arms reach towards the earth. And what I like to do is kind of let one arm get a little heavier, then let another arm get a little heavier by kind of wobbling it a little side to side. That'll help me find different little spots in my back. Now as those hands start to find their way, okay, towards the earth, and they might not find their way all the way to the earth, let your head drop. Do a little bit of a ha breath. Drawing the navel back up and towards the spine can help create more of a stretch as well as more stability. Softer in the eyes and the jaw. There's a passivity in this one. With the exception of the hips, I'm still externally rotating the hips to keep those knees tracking over the toes. Letting the arms get heavy, letting the gravity do the stretch. Now some of you might be in a position to kind of wiggle the hips a little bit more back on the chair, letting yourself dip in a little bit lower if that's appropriate. Then when you feel cooked in that, maybe 5 to 10 breaths. The chin comes into the chest, and you slowly let that roll back up. Slowly, feeling the belly open, feeling the heart open, and feeling the shoulders roll back and down. Now, pause for a moment, like allow the back to settle from that. That's a big stretch in the back of the body. To counter pose, you'll slowly toe heel your feet a little closer, maybe about hip distance apart. Hold on to the knees, and you do the opposite. You roll your pelvis forward, and you draw your heart up, and you roll your shoulders back and down, and you might even let the throat open. So you're lifting up through there, you're strengthening that back. Nice. Inhale there. Exhale, let it release. I recommend repeating that stretch at least one more maybe even 2 more times, so that you can sense how it gets easier by doing it.